Cool to see Bert literally in the middle of nowhere in my book. I mean, that's pretty cool. So thanks a lot, Bert. You're looking great, and just keep plugging away. Maybe the Echolink connection will get worked out. So yeah, gosh, amazing, beautiful day today. I mean, it's not really that warm, but we had a lot of sunshine, and so, gosh, I don't know what else to say. It seemed like I didn't do very much. Had a, what do you want to call it? That's always interesting. And now that I've invited my wife to attend with me, she's given me a lot of moral support, and I see the cat's starting to wake up, so that'll make things interesting as well. So, oh gosh, I'm sure I've got a lot more to say. I just can't think of it right now, and I better make some notes so I don't forget next time. K7ITX, back to net control.
ITX, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, Ron, report on your picture. I see you. For some reason, on RF, my pictures seem to have more snow than normal. But because I know who you are, I can make out your picture. Same with everyone. Let's see, I have intermittent color on most everyone. Bert, I have only black and white on you. However, your video is stable. Your audio is intermittent. Probably about like Dave said, on Echolink. Let's see, Bob, I've got steady color on you for some reason. Your video seems to be the best on 1.2 gigahertz. Let's see, what can I say? Yeah, mostly a nice day here. I did have some areas of rain passing through. Right now I'm showing 44 degrees. We had several hours of not extremely strong winds, but more windy than one would like on a normal basis. Otherwise, it seems to be nicer now, calmed down a little bit. Was looking forward to having some nice weather, but they keep changing it, and they keep changing it to make it worse. I'll keep my fingers crossed that it picks up a little bit. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Well, let's go to Bellevue to James, WW7N.
This is James, WW7N. First of all, Jim, are you on 103.5? That would be a good reason why Bert would not be able to hear you. So you might want to check your PL tone. Bert, yes, I think you get the award for being, as I don't know how farther out you could be as in the middle of nowhere other than in the South Pacific. So Ron, sorry to hear your telecom services are down until next Tuesday. That's amazing. That's almost a week before they even look at it. You would think they could at least diagnose. At least they could diagnose, what the problem was remotely by at least trying to figure out, like, if you got twisted pair up to your house or whatever. So that is, a new standard of low. I'm assuming you're on CenturyLink, but let us know what provider you have. That your story is, I think, interesting. You're using a highly accurate digital time source along with an oscilloscope and a microphone to repair an older clock. I think that is very interesting. I recall in the 90s, I got a Soviet military wristwatch and took it, back then Fred Meyer still had real watch repair places, and the guy looked at it and he goes, yeah, I've seen one or two of these coming out of the former Soviet Union. We cannot find parts for them at all, absolutely zero parts. However, I can check the tick for you, and he checked the tick, and it was dead on. It was absolutely dead on. And I mean, this thing, I mean, if you went over the side of a boat with this thing strapped to your wrist, you would probably die. It would just take you to the bottom of the ocean. I mean, it's built out of recycled World War II tanks. Definitely a military watch, and it's a wind up, and I don't even want to imagine what they used to make the stuff, the hands glow in the dark. That's probably too frightening to even think about. But anyway, I recall that's the last time I can think of a tick was checked with an electronic device to check a mechanical tick. Anyway, well, that's it for first round here from Northeast Bellevue. Ron, I found your picture I could tell it was you, but on a scale of 1 to 5, I don't know, it was probably about a 3. I would agree with Jim on the signal report on that. So if anybody else needs something changed, let me know. And this is James WW7ATS. I'm going to turn it back to our net control Dave for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Go ahead, Dave.
U7N, thanks for that. Well, here in Lake City, I got 46 degrees and overcast. And again, this is Dave, KD7CYM. Boy, for today it was domestic chores, and I got a chance to get some exercise and go for a nice walk in the neighborhood this afternoon. And it didn't rain while I was out, and the sun actually was shining, so I must have timed it right anyway. I've got about 1.5 miles exercise out there. Well, it was kind of interesting listening to Bert N7CS saying he was between Fiji and Tahiti, but it reminded me in the 1970s, the U.S. government gave the Fiji Navy some frigates to be in the Fiji Navy, and we covered that for television news. The interesting thing I thought was the sailors came aboard for the commissioning of the boat, but they were all barefooted, and I thought that was kind of interesting because this was in like February, and it was really chilly out, but they were standing their ground barefooted. I guess that's pretty much how they handle their footwear during the deployments. So anyway, that's Dave, KD7CYM. So I'm going to move you back up to Ron, KD7QKU. KD7QKU. Response, let's go to Lee, N7KC.
Okay, Lee here in 7KC in Port Angeles. Well, very good, very good. I'm going to haul up marine traffic here in a minute and see if I can find the Carnival Illuminata, I think I remember Bert saying. Illuminata? Kind of a funny name for a ship, but anyway, I think that's what it was. Strangely, maybe he's going to spell it out on the chat. Strangely, I cannot rename myself tonight. Normally, Illuminosa. Okay, that will help her, thank you. Anyway, I can't rename myself. I don't know why. I didn't go off and I don't think since the last session, which I think I could rename myself, I don't believe I've got a new upgrade in, but maybe I do. And they seem to have left that off for some reason now. So I'll be curious to know if any of the rest of you go to the upper right-hand corner of your picture and can you rename yourself? That'd be interesting. I'd be curious to know. I really don't have much else. The clock, by the way, it's a pendulum clock. It's a second pendulum. So the period is actually 2 seconds. It's 1 second per swing. And each swing consumes 32 miles. I've done all the math on this thing. And there's lots of different kinds of escapements over 500 or 600 years of clock making. And starting with the Verge way back when. They had water clocks, and then they had a Verge, and finally they have the anchor escapements now. And in that variety, I don't have a recoil, but I have a deadbeat. And they're very, very nice movements. Well, like I say, what happened was the deadbeat is the anchor thing that swings on the escapement wheel and meters out the energy to the pendulum to keep the clock going and so forth. Anyway, somehow or other that anchor got moved, and then the pendulum's not getting tapped right for resonance, and its Q is high, so it takes it a while to run down, but eventually it took about 15 minutes, and then the pendulum quit. So the problem is to put that back so that the clock goes tick-tock, tick-tock, because it was going tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. So I had to find out, I found out there was a clutch on that, a friction clutch, and I didn't have to have any special tools or anything. And then the contest is, how do you look at two pulses that are after one another, trigger on them, and measure their time difference? So the slick thing for that is to use the 1 pulse per second that my ivory bead net clock generates, and let that trigger the scope, and then I can take a look at each of the tick and the tock as they go from one to the other, and all I have to do is to slide them together so it's overlap, and then the clock will run like $1,000,000. So I was able to do that, but I just had to set up some equipment to do it. Anyway, yeah, I forgot to start my timer. I'm probably going to time it out, so I'm going to go back to you, Dave. This is S7KC in Port Angeles. Go ahead, Dave.
N7KC. Well, let's go out into the middle of the ocean and find Bert. N7CS.
Okay, I've turned my Zoom video off just if it makes any difference in the sound, or give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear. Okay, let me unmute myself on Zoom as well. So you may be hearing double at a delay, but maybe you can hear something. Anyway, let me try this again. Okay, there. Trying again. Let's see, I forgot to report the time, 4 p.m. when we did the net back on Saturday. We cut extra time zones. It's either 2 hours or maybe 22 or 26 or something, depending upon the way you look at it. But what else is going on? Every sea day we have a natural today and one of those but I turned back away and she was a species.
Fine. Up.
But
Didn't hear that transmission.
This is WW7ATS. And let's see, we're going to go to Bob, K9PQ.
Thanks, Dave. My theory on what's happening here is the transmission from Bert is getting delayed because of the bad internet connection, and so it sort of spilled over into what you were saying. I don't know if that's exactly right, but the previous time it seemed to continue to transmit after he was done. So, okay, moving on. Ron, yeah, that's really surprising about the internet, that it's taking them that long to fix it. I'm sorry to hear that. They must be slammed right now or short-staffed. I don't know what. Lee, that's really cool about the clock, but my comment is it just confirms once again that you have the best toys. So that's really cool stuff. And I love that heavy watch, James. Do you still have it? I'd like you to show it on the video here some net. I think that'd be cool. And Dave, good on you for getting out the mile-and-a-half exercise. Man, I did not do that today, but I need to start. What can I say? And really interesting about the frigate and the barefooted Fiji Navy. And I mean, not just in the cold, but on a cold steel deck of a, I assume it's a steel deck on this ship. I don't know how they did it. I mean, you could get hypothermia. So, anyway, that's my notes for this time around. I don't think I mentioned before, YouTube is working now, so thanks to Wade for getting that up. I did exchange some texts with him, and he did get it up for us, so thanks to Wade. Okay, back to net, K9PQ.
PQ, thanks for that. And time to get another ID out here. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Richard and Kent, K7ITX.
Right, well, thanks again, Bert. Yeah, no, that was pretty smart of you to do the double audio. And we surely heard everything you had to say. When you started talking about the naturalist, though, I thought, gee whiz, people already? You know, I mean, no, but no, of course not, you know. I mean, that's just my idiocy, I guess. I don't know. The naturalist nudist, yeah, that's two to one. So, anyway, so what I wanted to mention is, you know, not this weekend, but the coming weekend is the big race in Sonoma, California that I've been to the last couple of years. And then the guys are going to stay and then not go back to Washington. And the next weekend after that, they're going to be at Laguna Seca, big vintage race down there. So, but however, I'm just not feeling up to it, so to speak. I mean, having just flown to Phoenix and experienced air travel right now, it's kind of lost its luster, so to speak. I'll travel again, and I'm sure I'll have to go to Phoenix again, but I'd really like to go to a car race when I am looking forward to it. So I think that's the whole idea, is when I go to these things, it's because I want to go, and it's because I'm going to have fun. Right now I just, got too much going on, and I'm sure things will calm down quite a bit. And considering I put everything on the calendar that's local, so I think 9 local racing events that I can go to in Kent, Shelton, and Portland. No air travel there, and I'll they'll just be pretty happy to just go to 9 instead of 12 or 13. And the 12 or 13 are kind of more of a hassle now than they were before. I'll send it back to net control, K7ITX.
ITX. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Dick, yeah, I agree. Air travel is less desirable than it used to be. It's, things are kind of messed up. I was seeing something on television which implied that airlines are a bit understaffed right now. So that's a serious complication. But I was surprised when you mentioned as many local events, 9 kind of close by us, that you could attend. That sounds good. And let's see. Oh, Bert. Yeah, when you bypass your video signal, your audio improved significantly until it decided to go out to lunch. Really good that you're able to communicate with us from out there. Jim, you were wondering that, yeah, I don't think Bert was having trouble hearing me. I was having trouble hearing Bert. And my radio does say I'm on 103.5. I guess back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. So let's go to James, WW7N in Bellevue.
Question of the evening. Do things always improve for the better? This is a picture of what dining looked like on the Pan Am when you were traveling over the Pacific. With Bert being the Pacific, I thought it would be interesting to show this picture. I think this is from the 1930s. The Pan Am Clipper with what dining looked like then, as opposed to what it's like in an airplane today. So I don't know. Did they have it better than we do, or did we have it better than them? Also, since the navigation wasn't that great, sometimes they would actually end up landing someplace other than where they intended. So it was kind of an exciting adventure too, but still massively faster than going by steamship. Anyway, I got this show here, or this picture here, off of an article entitled "What Airline Foods Look Like in the Past." And apparently this was a real competitive thing in the 30s, is who had the best airline food. And so they had all sorts of, I don't know if it was like what the picture on the box versus what it really looks like when you pull it out of the box, or if there was follow-through on this. But only in my lifetime, I do remember Air Italia at one point would really go all out on food. That was their big deal in the 1980s. When you would expect that of the Italians, right? But I haven't been on them in a couple of decades, so I don't know if that's really the case, if anybody else knows or not. Three CWIDs. Someone should tell me where the third one is. I didn't catch it, didn't get the recognition of the call sign on the third one. Yeah, Bert, I'm not sure what's going on with Echolink, if it's not prioritizing the packets or if there's some other problem. I do think we're getting a little digital communications interference. I'd love to know whether the person is just like on the wrong channel and wonders why no one's answering him, or what's going on with that, because that's the second net in the road that's been going on. Anyway, may need to focus a little effort, because he's probably got his call sign on there somewhere. We could just contact him and ask him what he's doing. It's 37 minutes after the hour, so that was my question for the group there is, what was your best airline food experience you've ever had in your life, or maybe the worst? This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. Let me give it back to Dave, our net control tonight.
Thanks for that. And thanks for showing us that clipper ship food. I'm sure it's probably very similar to what Bert's having on the table on his cruise ship anyway. That was very interesting, and give thanks to Lee, who was able to pull up the map showing exactly where in the Pacific the ship is located. So that was kind of interesting to be able to see it on a map. Gave you a nice location of what that was. And for Lee, I went to rename myself also. When I did the pull-down menu, it did not have the area to rename yourself. So I did have an update about 2 nets ago. So I guess the new update didn't have that in it for some reason. So anyway, this is Dave, KD7CYN in Lake City. So I'll send it back up to the top to Ron, KD7QKU.
This is Ron, if somebody will switch me in. KD7QKU here. So, Bob was asking, I do have Comcast internet and Comcast phone, so I lost them both. And I saw a Comcast truck today, and I stopped and asked the guy what was going on, why taking a week. And he said they were short-staffed, and he said it's just been running about like that. He said he was sorry to report that. But I said, I guess there's no chance you couldn't take a look. And he said, no, I don't have a worksheet, and you know, the other customers are all waiting. So anyway. So Lee, it was interesting here you talk about the clock. Tonight on Channel 4, Eric has his heroes. And so tonight he had a program about a lady. She lives maybe on Vashon Island. I guess I didn't hear that. I don't remember. She's probably in her 30s. Nice, very nice looking lady, dark haired. And she works on antique clocks and all kind of gadgets, anything mechanical. She has the most beautiful machine shop. She makes all the parts for the clocks because she works on things from, you know, the 1700s and stuff. She even travels around the world and works on clocks, and they send clocks from around the world for her to fix. Very valuable clocks and other things. She had a bird in a cage that went peep peep. It showed somebody had made I think a bird and a waterfall thing. It was all mechanical. She showed that, and she has a beautiful machine shop. The lady's quite talented. So if you have any way to look at Channel 4, maybe you can find this lady, Lee. You'd be maybe there's a video or something on her. I don't know, YouTube or something. But boy, she is talented. And has really nice equipment, nice shop. Okay, let me let her drop. Make it, I guess you probably called for me. Joanne was trying to get the TV set to go to Channel 13, the one in the living room, and it wouldn't go to Channel 13. Maybe when I scanned it, it didn't scan Channel 13 in it. Usually, you know, we're using Fire Stick, and there's no problem with doing anything, but she couldn't get 13, so some of the others do, so she had to go look in the kitchen. She wanted to watch The Masked Singer or somebody. So anyway, I'm going to have to scan that TV again. You were talking about airline food and stuff. It was quite interesting. I was talking to someone the other day. I don't know who it was, can't remember, but I'm thinking maybe it was my Joanne's niece's husband's father and mother. Anyway, they fly a lot, and they decided that they would fly first class. They never fly first class. I don't think they will fly anything except first class from now on. They said it was quiet, the seats were really roomy, they had lots of leg room, and the food was delicious. There was no wait for the bathroom. You could get to a bathroom anytime you wanted it. So they said first class. They had forgotten how nice it was. They said it made flying fun again. So anyway, you might think about that. Fly first class. All right, back to net, KD7QKU.
7QKU. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay. Well, I'm back in 7KC Lee in PA. Well, another job I've been doing here in the house is changing out the light fixtures. I've done 8 of them so far. And this place was built in 1983 and it has no lights in the middle of the room. It just has switched outlets so you can put things around the peripheral and so forth. Well, anyway, it's just, I don't know, they're old and they're kind of dim. I changed everything to LEDs a long time ago, but that's bulbs. So I found over here at Thermos Supply, they've got some really nice 18 and 20 watt LED lamps overhead. And so my plan right now, and I'm putting a runway down up in the attic so I can get over to it, I'm going to put one in the middle of our master bedroom and then bring it across and down the wall and add a second switch. And if that works out well, I'll try to do the 2 other upstairs rooms and then finally move downstairs. So I haven't spent a lot of money, a couple $100 probably for fixtures so far. But when you do it yourself, you know, it doesn't cost all that much money. So that's what I've been up to. And, we had hail here this morning for about 15 minutes. Quarter-inch type stuff, and I was hoping it wasn't going to get any bigger because our sunroom was really taking a beating. And I didn't want to see broken glass out there or anything. So that was kind of interesting. You don't see that here very often. And it was warm. It was 40-some degrees, and here comes this hail. Anyway, okay, Dave, back to you in 7KC Lee in Port Angeles.
KC5WFH disconnected.
With that, well, let's move on down the list. So, to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, I'll just make this round quick since I don't know how well the audio is working. But plan on staying up really, or waking up really early, depending upon your point of view, since I think the Starship Orbital Flight Test is going to try again. I think it's going to be
Pitch up. Echo link actually came through that time for some reason. So, let's move on down the line. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, first thing, I want to say that I heard back from the fellow at Microhams. I had sent to the wrong email address to him. It was just another of his email addresses, so he did get it, but it took him a little longer, so he did respond. And I'm going to ask right now that anyone that's interested to talk about this to stay after the net tonight on Zoom, because there's a few things we need to discuss, and that is, number one, participating in an ATV presentation at CPAC, June 2nd and 4th, and our own presentation at Microhams either July or September. Those are their next available openings. So please stay after just a few minutes, but just so we can discuss it a little bit. Richard, that was pretty funny about naturalist. Yeah, naturist is the one you're thinking of. That's the ones that don't wear clothes. Those are naturists. But I'm sure it gets, I'm sure a lot of naturalists love to make jokes about it. And I have no airline food stories. I mean, mine's all just been the usual bland, sort of edible, but not particularly great, food. I will tell you that
N7CS timeout.
Whatever it was, I would bring my own cooler of
Connected N7CS.
Can you hear me okay? This is K9PQ. Can I get a signal report? Okay, I'm back. Okay. I don't know what happened. Yeah, so that's the only story I have, is that I used to be able to bring my own beverages with ice in a little cooler, a cooler bottle, and before 9/11. Otherwise, yeah, nothing too interesting. The Eric's Heroes thing, that sounds interesting, Ron. I'll look for that on YouTube. It might be there. I don't know. And flying first class, I don't know how. I mean, I know how some people do it. They fly a lot, maybe for their job, and then they can get first class upgrades. I have never flown a lot, and I've never tried to get first class upgrades, and I'm not going to spend the money for that. Bert, yeah, the launch, that's awesome. Thanks for the heads up on that. I had been looking for any news on that, but apparently not hard enough, because I didn't know the launch was coming up tomorrow morning. So I'll be looking forward to that myself. Okay, with that, back to net, and looking forward to seeing hopefully all of you after the net, but at least a number of you. K9PQ.
Thank you. Get an ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Richard in Kent, K7ITX.
Yeah, for sure. First class is the way to go. I didn't fly first class to Phoenix. Alaska Airlines has first class, but they also have what's called an elite class, which is halfway between coach and first class. You pay a little bit more, kind of halfway between the two again. But with elite class, you're just a couple years, you're 2 rows back from first class, number one, hardy har. And then the other thing is extra legroom. A lot more extra legroom. That was very nice. It was very nice until the trip back. The trip back was same thing again, except it doesn't help when you have a developmentally disabled person sitting behind you that's 6.5 feet tall and has never flown before. And so, and he's right behind me exactly. And so he doesn't understand that anytime he put his knee into the back, in the back of my seat, that I could feel it. And so I got poked in the back for 2 hours on the way home, and supposedly, I paid extra money for it. I even kind of yelled through the crack between the seats, and I get too excited. I mean, I've seen a lot of these videos on YouTube where there's fighting and all that kind of business. And flying is weird enough without losing your mind. And I could have easily. I mean, if I would have been a normal, aggressive, I don't know what we call ourselves, Kevins, I guess. If I would have been a Kevin, I would have really got hysterical. I mean, all I did was yell through the crack between the 2 seats, freaked out the lady next to me because she was asleep, and I stuck my hand through the crack, and I just said, "Hey, you're poking me in the back." Kind of helped a little bit, and or helped for a while. And here's the other issue. The other issue, there is no first class or elite class when you're flying flying to Sonoma, California, to the the Santa Rosa Airport. It's just about. It's not much different than flying to Tacoma Industrial Airport over by Gig Harbor. It's pretty much the same thing. So no, they don't have first class there. And then the other whole thing about, so I'm kind of mumbling about flying and what I didn't like the last time going to Phoenix. Well, how about I made a mistake to wear long johns so I wouldn't have to wear a coat. It just made sense. However, it comes up kind of funny on the TSA security equipment. It looks like you're hiding stuff. And it looks like you're hiding stuff in the wrong places. And I got quite a feeling over in front of the public. And I didn't get angry about that, but they wanted to do all this in front of my face without a mask on as I'm going to a lung transplant consultation, and I got really angry. You can do your job, but if you're going to do your job, you're going to go get a mask, period. And one guy put his finger like, come over, step here. I go, no, I'm not. If you want me to come over, you got to get back 6 feet. And here's the other weird part. I forgot I had a Kindle, so that didn't help, and I didn't take it out of the bag. But when we got back, when we were finally at the hotel unpacking, I couldn't believe it. My carry-on luggage, I unpack, and I pull out literally a knife like that. Is it like a steak knife or something? I mean, it definitely could kill someone. And I thought, my God, how can you miss that? You found everything else, or no, you didn't find anything, and you found them, and you didn't even see the most important thing you should have found. So the whole thing was kind of disturbing, and so I'll just have to get over this for a while before I get worked up. But yeah, no, first class is the only way to go. So sorry about Santa Rosa, though. I guess I'll have to tough it up for that. It depends on the plane. Sometimes they have first class, sometimes they don't. K7ATS, back to net control.
ITX, and the net acknowledges W7ITL. Wade. Go ahead, Wade.
All right, well, I'll just kind of check in to say hi to everybody. Just dealing with some stuff at work, so probably will be in and out less than I normally am for the next couple of weeks. Hopefully it's quick, but dealing with that at work, and it's nice seeing everybody. And let's see, saw Bert. It looks like he's still on his cruise ship. I heard who else was on the yeah. Let's just say goodnight to everybody, and 73. So I'll catch you guys later.
KC disconnected.
Thanks for checking in. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, good evening, Wade. Let's see. Jim, did they have it better then than we have it now? The answer to that one is yes. Golly, food, probably more than anything, Dick, for the reason you said, it's good to fly first class because you have more room. The seats are wider, there's more space between the seats, so you're less likely to get kicked in the back, although if you get a little kid sitting behind you, they could still kick you. The food's better. The thing with that is it is, oh my God, expensive. Let's see. sometimes you don't land where you're expecting to. Yeah, way back when especially, the ability to reliably predict winds and weather were not there. So used to have to make more fuel stops, sometimes more than they planned. As for aircraft food, I don't know. I flew international for like 20 years, and we got first-class meals. My comment is like the first 500 or so were really good. The next 500 or so were okay, and after that it's like, oh, I have to eat again. Oh well. Let's see. Lee, hail in PA. Oh my gosh. And fixing clocks and adding lights. Sounds like you're rivaling Bob Villa there. Bert, audio. Just, let me reset. The audio, you quit just before you said when the launch was going to be. If someone else heard you, they did not hear you on the 14708 machine, and that's the only way I have of getting audio right now. Let's see, what else? Someone was asking about 3 different ideas. Yeah, the one would be STR, CTAC repeater group, then there's Rob, K7QJ, and also WWI still happens every now and then. They're not there all the time, but those are the 3 that we commonly get. Shazam, we're almost at the witching hour now. Thanks everyone for participating. Catch you next net, KD7ZYM and 7QO.
M7QO, yes, the bewitching hour has arrived and time to sign off the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. We'd like to thank the CTAC Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for Cougar Mountain for voice transmissions. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.